Oh, wow. Another interview with Keesha Carter. I'm super excited for this Survivor Story series. I have an awesome friend.
Thank you.
Joining me tonight. Yes. So I have the honor of introducing someone special to you all tonight. But before I do that, I want to first say hi. I am Keesha Carter, Keesha LaLuz Carter. For those of you who know me well, I am super excited to host the interviews with Keesha Carter, interviewing some of my friends that I have met over the last 11 years as a stage 3 cervical cancer survivor, speaker, author, and founder and CEO of Serenity, Courage, and Wisdom. So with Serenity, Courage, and Wisdom, we encourage healing. There you go. We encourage healing through the creative arts. We encourage you to share your stories. We encourage you to speak against cancer. And we encourage you to PAP it, ladies, PAP and prevent it. We want you all to remember that today is Giving Tuesday. So if you have not gone online to give, make sure you click on the link. It's going to be in the comment section where you can donate to Serenity, Courage, and Wisdom to help us with our services, with our programs, our workshops. You can visit our website to learn more, and we'll talk about that later, SCAWinc.org. And we also have, for the month of December, we're collecting holiday cards so that we can donate them through our Whispers of Joy project. So we definitely want you to check that out. There's the address where you can mail your cards to so that we can pass them out to cancer survivors, gynecologic cancer survivors, and their caregivers. So think about the caregivers as well when you're making your cards, and send them to us so that we can bring some joy, some happiness, encouragement, and empowerment during this season. So now what you all have been waiting for, I have, like I said, the pleasure and honor of introducing Miss Florine Dian Blackshear. She is someone that I had the honor of meeting. I can't even remember how many years ago, but we were at a retreat and we actually attended a few of them together. Yes, and so we'll go into that later. But she is the middle of 8 children, born and raised in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. She is about to finish her ministry license this month, y'all. Give her a hand. Woohoo!
I have to give myself a hand on that one.
I know that's right. I know what it's like to to get through school.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. And especially something you're passionate about. She's passionate about continuing to pursue her education of theology within other areas such as evangelism and teaching, and being that she loves studying the Word of God, because she not only strives for betterment for her soul and her spirit, but she wants to be able to help each and every person that she meets with her high beams on for Jesus. I love that. Yes. So that she can help them understand the way and truth of life. Miss Florine is the mother of 4 children. She recently relocated. I can't remember how long ago, last year?
It's been 4 years.
Has it been 4 years? I remember you telling me you were moving. Yes. Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's been 4 years. I've been down here.
Wow, 4 years. She relocated to Florida. She's now a nanny, granny, housekeeper, babysitter, and transportation specialist for her special needs grandson, who just turned 9 years old. I love that. And she says she loves every minute of it. And I don't blame you. She said the days are long and challenging, but the reward at night, when she's asked to brush his teeth or read him a book, it makes it all worthwhile. And for all of you grandparents out there, I know you can relate to that. So she, from never having a life illness nor any type of major sickness besides being pregnant, she was caught off guard like I was. Being diagnosed with cervical cancer, stage 2B, but then by the time she was able to get health insurance and start her treatment, she was restaged to stage 3B, 1 point from terminal. And so I want y'all to hear this quote that she wrote, and it's just awesome. In this life, God will give you lemons and allow the sweetness of his grace, mercy, peace, and healing to completely heal. She said, completely heal me. But to allow me to continue with life and health. So it not only gave her lemons and allowed the sweetness of his grace, mercy, and peace to heal her completely, but it allowed her to continue with life and health. There are many challenges within life with a major illness and a lot of long-term side effects, but long-term side effects. But she says that she thanks God that she's able to live and tell the story of his goodness and mercy to everyone and to continue to be strong within the body of Christ. So without further ado, Miss Florine.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Thank you
for joining me tonight.
Oh, thank you for having me, and thank you for thinking about me. Once I was notified about this, it really touched my heart and my soul and my spirit, because a lot of times when you meet different people in different stages of our cancer walk, it seems like, we are all trying to help each other, pat on the back, but you go the extra mile. You went the extra mile during our retreats where you helped me. And it's funny because the journaling book that you gave us for our creative arts, I have always journaled. So, and I have always written, and I sit back and look. And the one weird part, which I'm going to jump in my story some, is that when I was diagnosed with cancer, and after I finished my treatment, my daughter came to bring me down to Florida for a while so I could rest. And so before I can see if my treatment worked. And I went to church and I wrote in my journal in church, Lord, it'll be so nice if I'm able to come and just take care of my daughter in her beautiful home. And so 3 years later now, I'm reading this and I'm like, you better be careful what you ask God for, because he grants it,
Yes, you will have what you say. Words are powerful.
Yes, words are powerful. But I was diagnosed at the age of 58. And the weird part was I have never been sick besides having children. And during the summer, it seemed like my menstruation came on. And so I'm like, okay. But it didn't
What year was it?
This was 2011, during the summer of 2011. And so, but the thing was also that for many years, I have had abnormal pap smears. It wasn't HPV. It wasn't anything, just abnormal, where they continued to watch me and told me to make sure I get a yearly pap smear. So for years, I have had abnormal. So, but to end up being where your menstruation comes on in, then I just mentioned it to my niece. My menstruation been on for like 30 days. And she's like, she's like, Auntie, that's not normal. I'm like, well, hey, but it's just like, 2-3 pads a day. But she said, Auntie, that's not normal. So she ended up telling me, maybe you should go to the doctor. And so I'm like, okay, but I always have done my regular pap smears, always do my mammogram, always do eye examinations, and on a regular basis.
Yeah.
I have seen from many years, my mother used to do the same thing because she had high cholesterol, blood pressure. She had so many illnesses. And so she always, made sure. So that's what I did as well,
Wow. So you talked about when you were diagnosed 2011, and I mentioned already you went from stage 2B to stage 3B.
Yes.
And you started, first of all, because you had the bleeding.
I had the bleeding.
What else? What were those other side effects, and how did you get to the staging from, going from one stage to the other?
Unfortunately, I worked a good job, but did not have health insurance.
Wow.
And so I was making the money, living the life, but did not have any type of health insurance. And that's one thing that we as women sometimes feel, oh, we don't need it. Or when your children are young, I always made sure I had health insurance. And then it's like, I'm single, I don't need no health insurance. So I didn't get it. And then through the job I had at the time, they didn't have health insurance because it was a small business. So that's what happened. And so once the bleeding came, and then I went to the doctor, and then they sent me to a GYN oncologist. And then the oncologist says, he said, you don't look good. He said, it looks like you may have cancer. And I'm like, cancer?
Are you serious?
Yeah. He said, you look like you may have cancer. I'm like, cancer? He said, I'm going to send you for some tests, and then we can go from there. He said, but it looks like you have cancer. And I'm like, and it blew my mind. But then also, right from there, when I was told I had cancer, it didn't register.
Yeah.
And me being me, I thought death. Because who healthy thinks cancer? And then when they tell you cancer, you know, I didn't think that. I didn't think anything but death.
Yeah.
You know.
It happens.
I know.
You know.
And especially not having health insurance, you know.
Wow.
And so the sad part about that was I went for the test. I went for different tests. And then once they did the leap, and then they did a couple of scans, they said that I had cancer. And then they showed me the cancer on the form.
Wow.
And where they can see, and I still have the pictures of where you can see it. And he said that you had cancer. And so, but I didn't have health insurance. And so,
I'm sorry, go ahead.
So my thing was, how am I going to get health insurance and being a pre-existing condition, you know? And so I said, well, I'll just have to die like this. Well, thank God that somebody knew, and in the nurse from my GYN oncologist, her mother had just passed from cervical cancer like less than 2 months ago. So she was in the lunchroom talking about me. A gentleman in the next table heard her talk, and he gave her a business card, said, tell her to call me, I can help her. And so she called me, and she said, we have somebody that can help you get health insurance. I'm saying, he don't know me from a can of paint. But you see how God put things together? He worked for the state of the welfare department. So what he told me to do is just come in his office, sign all the paperwork. He told her to have her doctor tell me to go to the emergency room. And once I go to the emergency room, they can diagnose me from there. And then they will take care of me and give me health insurance. And I had the best health insurance.
Wow.
So that's
not by chance that he was eavesdropping and listening in on her conversation.
Yeah. And so then by the time they diagnosed me, and then by the time I got the health insurance, the cancer had progressed. And that's when it went from 2B, when they diagnosed me, to stage 3B, 1 point from terminal.
And so that means that the cancer had spread.
The cancer had not only spread, but it was multiplying fast, because it was like a 2-month period.
Yeah.
And then they went back and did more tests, and they said that they couldn't do a hysterectomy, because at first they thought, oh, well, we can do a hysterectomy. But by then the cancer had spread. So they said that they couldn't do the hysterectomy. They will have to do very intense chemo, radiation, internal and external.
Yeah. So that's the same. I was not 3B, I was stage 3. And it's the same thing. Couldn't have the hysterectomy. He went in to do it, and it was in my lymph nodes. So your story sounds so similar to mine. Same type of treatment. Chemo and radiation. Wow.
Yeah.
So
Now,
based on,
was yours in your lymph nodes? Because they didn't tell me that mine was, but I have all of my paperwork and documentation, and it's there that it was in the lymph nodes.
yes, he told me it was in my lymph nodes. He said when he went to do a hysterectomy, he said, if it's in my lymph nodes, he's going to leave all my organs intact. And I would then go into, he would then recommend me to do chemo and radiation.
Okay. Did they do
so that's what we did.
Okay. Did you do internal radiation as well? Okay.
Yes. The brachytherapy. Mm-hmm.
Yes. Long day. Long process.
Oh my gosh. Like whenever you hear somebody else talk about what they're going through, you tend to, as people, the way our brains are set up, you think about yourself. So as you're telling me your story, I'm thinking about my experience. And like, as you said, long days, I had a flashback of my Mondays being my chemo days and having radiation at the end of the day. And then, like you said, like those long brachytherapy sessions, having radiation, the getting everything lined up,
getting the molds.
Yeah.
I know. So so you basically had the same type of treatment,
Yes. And so the only symptom, because I didn't have bleeding like you did, was that the only symptom? Did you have lower back pain or anything? No.
I just had bleeding. Yeah.
Wow.
I just had bleeding. And I actually thought I was changing life.
You thought you were what?
Changing life. You know how you go through the menopause.
Oh, you thought you was in menopause.
Yeah, wow. I thought I was changing life.
That's very important that you mentioned that. There are so many of us as women, we overlook things because the symptoms are so similar. Having a period, or like you said, some women are thinking, you were 58
years old.
So you're like, okay, well, maybe I'm going through the change, So ladies, pay attention to your body. If it's not something that is normal, you should have a cycle that starts and stops.
Right.
And so if it's different, please communicate with your doctors because, you got to advocate for yourself. And so right now, how long it's been? You say 2011.
Mm-hmm. I just made my first 8-year mark.
Woohoo!
Yes.
So are you cancer free?
I'm cancer free. And awesome. And they told me that usually they'll tell the people that they want you. Once you make, I kept on saying, I want to be NED, no evidence of disease. And he said, usually people make it, once you make it to your first 5-year mark, then you can start breathing easily. But in talking to people and helping people and being in different groups, there are so many people that have made it to 6 years, 7 years. Not only have the cancer came back fiercely, but it actually, they didn't really have it all. And they actually haven't healed all the way. Wow. And that's what we as women that have had cancer, we have to look at the healing process. Continue to take care of your body. Continue to take care of your mind. Continue to take care of your spirit. Continue to try to exercise. I still eat 7 to 9 vegetables and fruits a day.
Wow.
That's what my doctor told me, because I start with a spinach smoothie with vegetables and fruits. And I still do it. So just like you said, even with the menopause and different other areas, we as ladies, we have so many hats, but we have to take care of this one first. And if you don't take care of your body, your mind, your soul, your spirit, it's where you can't bounce back. And just like I said, even in my bio, it's where it's a lot of long-term side effects that will continue to be with us for the rest of our life.
Right.
But we have to continue to heal. We have to continue to take that step to try to do better. Rest when you can. Do something creative to make yourself more appreciative of the world, of yourself. I don't care what's going on. nothing new under the sun when you look at it.
Yeah.
But still, you know, but
I like what you said. As women who have gone through treatment, I don't care. Some women are still fighting cancer right now, and they're still doing everything that they did before.
I know.
And so sometimes even myself, even 11 years later, I have to tell myself to relax, take some time, take some deep breaths, and, you know, like you said, the exercise, I stop, you know, and the eating right. Especially for us that have had the brachytherapy and the radiotherapy, is like your organs do something different. And so we have, based on what we eat, it can impact the way that we void, the way that we have our bowels. So I mean,
I'm gonna tell you, for many years, and I still carry an adult diaper bag.
Really? So
yes.
Tell me about that adult diaper bag. I didn't know about that.
Well,
I mean, if you want to share it.
Of course, because for us as ladies and having had cancer, and having the treatment,
yeah,
at one time we will have accidents.
Mm-hmm.
And I start whining and crying, trying to think, what is happening? Well, you know what my doctor said? He said, the broken cancer cells have to go somewhere. Now, you want them in you, or you want them to come out?
What?
So here you think, okay, so if they coming out and you don't have an adult depend on, if you don't have a pad on, and if you mess up what you have on, what are you going to do when you're out? So I have learned to make, and I tell the ladies that I take care of, you know, spiritually and emotionally, make that little bag so you're secure. Because also, just like you say, with internal radiation, external radiation, our body does things different. Even tonight, I thought, I'm celebrating, you know, I'm going to talk to you. So I had cookies and I had a small glass of milk. Well, between 2 Imodium ADs later, I'm able to sit here, you know, without running. But even too, you know, we have to want to take care of ourselves and to feel better, you know, and there are so many people that I have seen that goes through the treatment and they have the ugly attitude, I will call it, because we all go through something, but we have to be strong. We have to get, and then a lot of times people, they feel like, you know, it's my fault. No, it's not your fault that you got cancer. It's just part of life that we have to accept.
Ooh, I went through that.
I did too.
It's so true.
Yeah, I do too. But we have to realize that it's not our fault, because also there's another thing with cervical cancer that you'll look at when they explain to me the HPV.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, I start counting on my hands the men in my life, and I was going to go and see which one it was and shoot them. Don't laugh.
So HPV is the human papilloma virus that you can get from skin to skin contact.
Yes.
So
yes,
you don't have to have intercourse to get it.
No, you don't.
You can just be rubbing, rubbing and get it. And, so, you know,
and it's not always the sexual healing.
Exactly.
You know. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
did you have any family history of cancer?
No. My father had skin disease, like eczema, and my mother had a lot of other medical issues, but no cancer. And that's why when I was like, cancer? I mean, and then when they say you have cancer, it goes like a record.
Like a broken record, over and over and over. I could still see my doctor's face when he told me. I see the gynecologist's face when he said, you might I still see my primary care physician when he was down there searching, like, what is that down there? His head popping up and down. I still see it. So you're right.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
play it over and over again.
And it plays over and over. And I thank God for my niece who's a nurse at the hospital. And when she started telling me, you know, to go. And so I told her, I said, well, they said I'm going to have cancer. I'm like, I'm not going back. She's like, oh, yes, you are, because I'm going with you.
I'm so glad she said that. Because you have so many people, men and women, who have been told they have cancer or HPV or any kind of, like, I've talked to some people at the local health department here, and the women will get tested and have some signs of HPV or an abnormal pap and won't come back. Get tested again, follow up.
But see, that's wrong, because you're not only putting yourself at risk, but if it's tested and you have being told early that you have it, then they can show you how to take care of your body, how to take care of yourself, and what to do so that it won't. And a lot of times now, for many years of having abnormal pap, and they'll say, just come back next year. But if anything different occurs, then make an appointment, come back. And a lot of people don't want to know. Yeah. And why don't you want to know?
Fear, I guess. That's my only thought. Like, people are scared. You know, people are afraid of dying, but they are afraid of the preventative stuff to help prevent you from dying. You know, it's like, I don't know.
Or
so
then
go ahead.
I notice a lot of ladies that is in one of the, there's a Take Early Action and Live. And it was started in Australia, I think, from one lady that had cervical cancer. And then there's another one on Facebook, and it's called Cervical Ovarian GYN Cancer. And there is so many young ladies that come there that have had abnormal pap, that have problems having sex with their partners, where it's bleeding, it's pain. And then you'll say, okay, well, then you need to take steps to go to the doctor to take care of yourself. Because if this persists, but also, don't that ring bells that something's wrong? And then they're like, well, if I do that, then I'll lose him. Well, you have to take care of you. And so it is fear.
You want to lose him, or you want to lose your life? Like, I mean, well, I get the wanting to have that companion. I get that. It's just, and it happens. How many stories have you heard where people have lost their significant other, friends have left them, you know, people have abandoned, whether it's cancer, it doesn't have to be cancer, anything traumatic, anything serious that people have gone through, everybody can't handle it. And so it's like, I want to have those people around me who's going to be there for me. And, you know, if it's not meant to be, then like deuces. And it's easy to say, but it's hard to go through.
It's hard. And that's what I was going to say. It's hard for them to go through. It's hard a lot of times too, because we have dealt with so much in life, or we have been put down so much in life that we finally found somebody that loved us.
My God.
And then the next thing you know, we don't want them to have to take care of us. But there's a lot of
mom. I didn't want my mom taking care of me. You know, it's
that
like,
was a beautiful mom.
It's hard to be on the other side. Like, I'm always wanting to care for everybody else. But like laying in the bed and saying, gosh, look at all the stuff that I need to do. It's like, I can't get up and do it.
Yeah.
You know, being on the other side can play with your mind too. For people who's used to being very independent and caring for themselves. And then all of a sudden, overnight, all of that changes. It's tough. Like, I remember going to my appointments and saying, I don't want a wheelchair. No, I will just walk slow. I'm sorry, y'all have to put up with me walking slow, but I'm gonna walk until I can't walk no more. And then one day I went and I was like, okay, I'll get in the chair today. I'm in so much pain.
I know.
You know, I want to be independent.
I have came out of from radiation and stuff, and my ride was outside. I couldn't even make it. I'll go into the bathroom and just put my head, and they have came in there because at one time I wouldn't allow them to transport me back and forth. And they kept on saying, "You're all right." Of course I'm okay. And I'll go right outside and say, trying to get myself together, you know.
Yeah.
And then the lady came out and somebody must have told her, you know, somebody's in the bathroom. So they came and they checked on me. They said, you can't make it home on your own. And so I'm like, okay, you know, because we are independent, we're strong. We have come through a lot as it is. We have had to stand up. We have had to fight our battles. We have had to do what we have to do. And so it's hard to be on the receiving end of being soft and saying, okay, well, you can take care of me. You can bathe me. You can change my sheets. You can, and these are things that have to be done, especially with cancer. I remember when I started going through the treatment and the chemo, and it got so bad, and I couldn't keep nothing down. I couldn't keep nothing in. And so, of course, I messed up all my clothes. I messed up the 3 change of sheets, you know. And so so I start sleeping on the floor. And my child came one day and was like, "Ma, why are you on the floor?" I said, "Because I don't have no clean sheets."
Yeah, and then how you gonna get them washed?
Yeah, so then he said, "Well, why you don't tell nobody?" I'm like, "Y'all know I'm sick."
It's that response. Y'all know I'm sick, but then as a caregiver, sometimes, you know, family members and friends, they don't know what to do, especially if you're strong and independent. It's like, I don't know what she'll let me do. She might tell me, no, I got it.
Yeah.
You know, and you don't have it.
Yeah.
Or, I don't want nobody helping me.
Yeah.
You know, I don't want to feel like an invalid, like I can't do for myself. I've heard that.
Yeah, I hear it too.
So I get it. So based on what you just mentioned, several people, tell me about your support network and team. How was that for you?
It was the best. It was the best. I have a beautiful sister and family who love me, and they stepped up to the plate, and I didn't want them with me. Yeah. And I got a couple of times I'll try to leave them.
What you mean you was trying to leave them?
Well, I didn't want them at my doctor's appointment. I didn't want them to help me. But they started meeting me there. They started making no appointments. They just took over my life. And I'm glad that they did. Because they start taking over everything.
That's good.
I couldn't go,
family.
Yeah. I couldn't even go to an appointment without them there. And they started bringing me home, taking me, making my food, and just all I had to do was rest. And I thank God that they were, and just like I know what you mean, but I didn't want them. I'm like, I can do this. And the weird part was I wanted to continue to work, but it came a time when the treatment was so strong, and just like it was killing the cancer, but it was also killing other organs and making you so sick, you know, so that I just couldn't do everything. So, you know, I had a great support system with my sisters and my nieces, and then my daughter too. She will call and talk to me. And so once I got finished, she drove up and came and got me and brought me to Florida so I could rest, you know, for like a month. Yeah.
So that's awesome. I love to hear stories like that. Did you find that you had any obstacles during treatment that you had to overcome? If you did, how did you overcome those obstacles?
The only obstacles I had to overcome was when the radiation and the internal radiation made my bowels loose like water, and I couldn't do anything. So I actually called Bristol Myers and told them that I will be taking stock in Imodium AD products because I needed them.
You called them for real?
Yes, I did. Yes, I did. Because they're still my best friend.
Really?
Yeah. 8 years later, yes. Because I have to take at least 2 a day. And the obstacle was being ashamed of the accidents. But my doctor told me, he said, it have to go somewhere. And he said, and you're beautiful inside and out. So stop beating yourself up, being ashamed because you have accidents. He said, babies have accidents. And he said, just imagine you're a big baby and just continue to take care of yourself. So you know what I would do? Even every day. And I still do the same thing. I would get up, take a nice shower, lotion my body, take care of my body, make myself up, and go to the doctor like I was going somewhere to go on that
go on that table, huh?
But it make you feel so much better. Yes, because you know you can put your best foot forward, and even if the outside look nice and you feel better. And so, you know, because sometimes too, you know, you losing your hair, you lose your appetite, you losing weight, so much that's taken from you from the treatment. But if you constantly put your best face forward to step out, and it'll help me mentally and emotionally during that obstacle, especially because at first all I would do is cry, you know, like I don't want to live like this. I don't want to live like this, you know, especially having the accident. But he just told me, he said, act like you're just a big baby. You can't control it. He said, and one day you will thank me because you'll be better. And so that's what, and he was the one who told me about, he said, just get you an adult diaper bag. He said, and just put everything you need in there. And I still need it at times because sometimes different things that just trigger my system off. Even though sometimes you watch what you eat, you try not to eat out a lot, or you try to pick and like eat a little bit and take the majority home. So this way, after you eat, because it does, within 30 minutes of eating a full meal, I'm in the bathroom because it don't hold. But, you know.
Yeah, it's amazing how our bodies respond. Certain foods could trigger it, certain emotions. Yeah. So what did you say? 8 years later, what has life after cancer treatment been for you?
Well, it has made me a better person to myself. It has made me more aware of the different illnesses that not only affects me, but affects other people. And to learn more, because I didn't know a lot about cancer during the time. And then there's so many other cancers that, and even though I can say, okay, I have cervical cancer, I don't want to know about breast cancer, I should know because I'm a woman and I can be affected. But also I want to know what they go through, how they go through it. And then ovarian cancer, which is a silent killer. And my godmother, she had ovarian cancer. Right. And it was funny, once she got ovarian cancer, and I had just finished my treatment, and she called me and said she wanted to talk to me. And so she told me, she said, I'm not going to be like you and be all whining and crying. She said, and I said, yeah, but I got cancer. She said, I do too. She said, but what I did was when they told me, I turned my face to the wall and I gave it to God. And I allow him to heal me. And she said, and you was brought up in the church, you should know better. She said, all you keep on doing is whining and crying. Why me? Why me? Why not you? She said, but it will help you to be stronger for the next person that you will.
Yes.
And to be able to continue to give to the next person, to the next person. She said, because you have a lot of work to do. And even too, I'm like, me? But it was, you know, so
why not you?
Why not us?
Yes, you know? Why not us?
Yeah.
It is, and I say all the time, some things are easier said than done. when you're in the middle of it, some people don't have the mental capacity, emotional capacity to take it. And they feel like there's no way out, but there's always a way out. And it may not be in the way that we want it to come. But like you said, there is a purpose and a plan for your life. And
yes,
it may, some people, you know, they pass over. However, while they're here, for the time that they were here after diagnosis, there's somebody was impacted. It might have been your doctor. It might have been your nurse. It might not have been your family. It might have been a friend. You know, how many friends did you tell about what you went through? Who's, I mean, you were older. I'm not sure for your age group, but my age group, there were several who said, oh, I went to the doctor because of your story, and they found abnormal, they had abnormal paps. Had I not shared my story, they might not have gone. Or maybe, you know, somebody else might have planted the seed, but because I planted the seed, I might have saved a life. You know, I don't know. So our purpose is, sometimes people look at us like, gosh, you know, a life, some lives, it just feel like, gosh, they've gone too soon. But let's look at what has become of them, you know, of their life. What legacy have they left? Whose life have they impacted? What doors were open because of what they went through?
Right.
You know?
And they a lot of times they feel so broken. They feel so torn that they don't think that there's life after cancer. And there's life even during cancer.
It's hard to see when you're in the midst of something. It's hard to see around it. You know, like you have the mountain, and then you have the valley down there. You can't see what's on the other side of that mountain because everything just seems like it's so big and massive.
Right.
But there is something on the other side, and it's just having to walk it out. It's hard.
Yeah. And to stand tall and firm on God's word that he'll never leave you and forsake you. And I thank God for my Christian upbringing, but I also thank God for allowing me to become stronger through the word during this time. Because so many times that when we lose focus, the flesh, but the spirit of his will comes in and is able to give us.
So your faith, you know, I just spoke with someone about their faith and cancer. That was something that helped me too.
Right,
you know,
right.
It helps. Faith to me helps you with hope. You know, when you have something to believe in, you know, I believe in Jesus Christ and I believe in God. I believe in the Trinity. So it's like, I believe the Holy Spirit had his hand in helping to heal me. I believe in I visualize the blood of Jesus going through me. And I believe that we have power in our minds. You know, have you ever heard where somebody hears a bad word, you know, a bad diagnosis or whatever, and then they take it in and then their body starts to feel it.
And I have seen it.
You've seen it. And then you have the opposite side where someone has heard something and they took it upon themselves to have faith or hope, or, you know, they spoke life into themselves. They encouraged themselves and their bodies respond so different.
Yeah.
I just think there's so much power in having the mental muscle.
Yes. There's a lot of people that I have noticed through some of the support groups where I don't even have to say anything, but just my attitude and disposition, they will come to me and ask me, would you pray for me? Wow. And I guess everybody is not brought up in the church. Everybody doesn't have the faith that we have. And everybody don't know the Lord as a savior.
Right.
But I thank God that I'm able to, just like you said, plant the seed and to help them to see. And I'll tell them, I don't mind praying for you. And then within a month, though, by now, I want to send them little scriptures so that they can read and so that they can ask God to come into their life, or for them to start doing little things to get that relationship with Christ. Because if they don't, I don't want their soul to be lost, because we wasn't always found. And and when you brought up the 23rd Psalm of, yea, though I walk through the valley, I mean, and that's a dark valley. That's a deep valley. And cancer will take you down there. But I praise God that he was able to not only bring us out, but bring us through. And we're stronger than we was when we started at that valley door.
I'm going to have to do this. Have them high beams on for Jesus.
Yes.
That's like la luz, the light in Spanish. La luz.
Yes.
The light. Keesha la luz. I mean, that's the reason why, you know, I say that, because I believe that I am that light. You don't have to preach the Bible to show God's light in you.
Right.
You know, the scriptures, that's one part of it, and it's very powerful. But how many people are living it and trying to allow that light to shine through, being kind, being loving? And that's what you just expressed. You know, sharing the love that's in your heart, even to your enemies, even to those people who persecute you and hate you, people who curse you, talk about you, you know, just allowing that light that's deep down inside of you to shine. And so I love it. Put on those high beams for the Lord.
High beam. And I love that. For our enemies, and even for the people that persecute us, don't let it bother you, because this Pharisees and the Sadducees, they was all against Jesus, but he was all about good. And so that's what we are. And we're going to love them. We're going to continue to show them that God loves them too. And sometimes it's always just a little thing, or you think you're better than me. Why would I think that? I put on one pants, one leg at a time. How do you put yours on?
Yes, yes.
So you just ask them that, and then a lot of times people don't even know you. You know, they just look at you and see your walk, your talk.
That's right.
And they don't know you.
Just be the light.
Yes.
You don't even have to open your mouth. So let me ask you this. What do you wish they told you before, during, or after treatment?
I actually wish I known before treatment the truth of the treatment. A lot of times when you would talk to or ask the doctor questions, it wasn't where they was honest with you, but they didn't want to tell you the horrible parts of the cancer treatment.
Yeah.
And it got so during treatment, when I would ask them certain questions, he wouldn't answer, but he would just go on to something else.
Yeah.
And so, and it hurts because when you find out the legitimate of your questions, or why, it's where you could deal more better with the treatment, or you could, I actually decided what treatment option I wanted. And he said, who's the doctor? Who's the patient? You know, he said, I'm like, no, I'm telling you, this is what I want. And he said, I can see you do your research, because I was researching, because my niece, with her working in OB/GYN, she knew, and she would tell me what to ask for or what she felt was best for me. So the thing that I just wanted them to be honest and open about, the horrible effects of chemo, the horrible effects of radiation. And they actually didn't, because what the treatment was to do was to kill the cancer. But for the other long-term side effects that comes with it, I don't think that they was really open and honest with us about. And so that's what, you know, I really need. Also at one time, like say chemo brain fog, Like I would say, I'm starting to go to say my name and something else come out. And so he'll say, well, you know your name. Why do you have to say your name? So this went on for a while.
Wow.
And so then when I said to him one day, I said, I'm going to talk to you and I'm going to talk to you nice, but there's things that I need to know that's happening to me. I know they're happening to me, and I have asked you 1 or 2 times, and I think it's just me. So I thought I had maybe had a stroke or something, because here, what my brain wanted to say, something else will come out my mouth. And so it was one of the long-term side effects from chemo brain fog. And so when I said that to him, he just looked at me. He said, well, a lot of times it goes away. He said, and sometimes people have read up on the long-term side effects or different things, or they hear about it and they just think that they have it. So he said, that's the reason he didn't talk to me, because he wanted me to be sure that it was happening. Because sometimes people will say, oh, I'm sick. And they're not really sick, but they just think they're sick. And so he said that was the reason why he didn't talk to me the way, in the long run. So he said, he said, I have it all written down, what you say. He said, but it's just where we'll talk about it. And they had a team of my doctors, the cancer doctor, the radiation doctor, and the GYN oncologist, and my social worker. And he said, we all have it. He said, you done asked us about 22 times. He said, so then let me tell you some exercises to do. So he said, we want you to think first before you speak, and start doing word puzzle, start doing it more right, and start memorizing different things. Yeah. And so it'll become better. And it still happens every now and then when I think my mind gets lazy, I will go to say something and something else come out. I'm like, or I will go to say somebody, how you doing? And then something, and it still happens. But that's because I don't think first or things like that. So I just wish that they was more honest with the treatment, long-term side effects, or even for the bladder problems of, your bladder, your bowels, which it'll be something that I will have to live with for the rest of my life, you know. So, but you have
to it's something that some people don't want to hear, because they don't want to do like what you said, to think up something that's not really there, but your body start responding because you think just like some people think, oh, I got a headache, oh Lord, I may have this X, Y, and Z, and it's not even close. So, right. And then some people, I think, not hearing, some people don't want to hear about the worst, because it makes it harder, because they're thinking about what they're anticipating, something that may never happen. Right. So, everybody's experience is so different. So let me ask you this. And I like what you said about, I don't know if I would want to know it either. I'm thinking, as you were talking, I'm like, well, how would I have responded? I wanted to know that afterwards. I'm like, gosh, I wish I known this, that, and the other. Like, I always want to prepare. So I want to know stuff ahead of time so I can have things in place and prepare. So I don't know. I don't know how I would have responded. So are you active in the cancer community?
I'm active with the American Cancer Society. I'm active with the Till Ladies Take Early Action and Live. I'm very active with cervical, ovarian, GYN. We're daily. We have 2 to 3 new ladies a day coming in, being diagnosed, needing help. With just what to do. And so
that's a group on Facebook?
It's a group on Facebook. I have a group on Facebook, but it's not very active, but it's called D-Winning Cervical Cancer Awareness. But what I do is when they come in, I send them the 10 questions to ask, because on my page, I just have all of the side effects and the rate for chemo, all of the things that will happen for radiation and things like that. So what I do is I just send the different information out to them for like the 10 questions, what to ask the doctor, what is my diagnosis, how long before I need treatment, what type of health insurance will I need, and to let them know also to take someone with them when they first go for their appointments, but also to write their questions down, so that a lot of times you go into the appointment and it goes in this ear and comes out that ear.
Right.
You want to be able to remember what they say.
Mm-hmm.
So I try to help them like that. And I was just licensed through Our Journey of Hope. And it's a ministry where it will teach you how to train other people within the different churches and the different organizations to have support groups within the body of Christ to help different people. Because even not only for me, but for the caregivers, for people within the family. For so many times, like say, I had a support group of my family, of my sisters, of my children, but there's so many people that when they get older, they're by themselves. And down here in Florida, there's a lot of senior citizens. And so I see a lot of them by themselves at the Cancer Treatment Center of America. So we're trying to help them, to give them not only a support, but also to give them love, to give them hope, because after this life, that there is another life through Christ if they are
so
able.
That's
to
Our Journey of Hope. And where could our viewers go connect with them?
www.ourjourneyofhope.com. And they also have a Facebook group as well, which they just put a beautiful scripture with a pretty picture. And so daily you can just look at it, and it gives you hope. It gives you a peace, you know. So I enjoy that. With the
American Cancer Society.
American Cancer Society. Oh, look good, feel better. And that's why I try to look good and feel better. Because what the Look Good and Feel Better program does is they have where you come in and they have a beautician there. They have someone like a counselor, and they'll have makeup. And so they'll teach you how to make your face up, and they'll have wigs, different wigs to help you. And so you can go, and they usually have one monthly, and you can just ask like any counselor at your local hospital, do they have a Look Good, Feel Better program? Or go to American Cancer Society, and they have the Look Good, Feel Better program. And this is worldwide. And
so they would go to the American Cancer Society website.
Yeah, go to the American Cancer Society website. As a matter of fact, American Cancer Society have so much resources for everyone. They still give you rides to the hospital. They pick you up. They have a site also where, to my knowledge, they have a housekeeper that will come to your house and help you twice a month. Why
they didn't have that when why like
I don't know.
They've expanded a lot over the last 11 years. I mean, even the driving, like they did help with gas, but they weren't doing, the driving. So that is so awesome how the American Cancer Society has expanded so much the information, of course, the research, all of that. So thank you for sharing that.
Oh, anytime. But also the American Cancer Society, they actually have another help within their organization where, like, say, if you have to go to treatment, and some people in certain towns, they have to go like out of town to treatment. Like, say, so they will end up putting you up in a hotel and providing you food and transportation for that as well. So they have expanded, but they need to, because everybody needs help, and it costs so much to be able to go, because to go somewhere, to have
to a whole new city. Some people even travel across the states to Yeah. So what message would you like to share with the community of women, with the community or to women who are apprehensive about going to the doctor?
I was apprehensive myself at the beginning, but it's where you want to be well, you want to be healed, you want to be whole, and you want to be able to have life and have life more abundantly. And if you want that, then you have to not only find out what is wrong, but to take the precautionary measures to be able to follow the doctor's instructions. And a lot of times too in life, we don't like, I don't like this doctor or this and that. Get a second opinion and find another doctor that not only you can talk to, but that will listen to you, because it's a two-way street when it comes to our doctors. Sometimes you can tell them something and they're so busy. And I tell them, I even went to my doctor today. I told him, I'm not a number, I'm a person. So look me right there in the eyes and, are you a person too? And he just laughed. He turned around. He said,
I like that you said you want to be well, you want to be healed.
Yes, you want to be well, then you want to be whole. And that's what I strive for myself, to be well, to be healed, and to be whole. And to daily to get up and put that best face forward.
I love that.
Try to eat right. Try to take care of yourself. Even if you don't exercise today, next week, start with one day. Build it up. You know, because it'll make you feel better. It'll make you, you know, I got to, I think in August, I start doing a JJ Smith smoothie fast and try to do better for myself. And I'm going to tell you, I feel 100% better just by watching what I eat, exercising, and it just makes you just feel better, you know, and even look better. And you don't have to go to the look good, feel better to look good and feel better, because you have it within your spirit.
I love it. I love it. So tell us, what's one word or phrase that you would like to share to encourage women? You've done a lot of encouraging tonight, but what would you say to encourage, one word or phrase, those women who are currently in treatment or who face some type of roadblocks in their process?
My verse that I live by, I can do all things through Christ, because he strengthens me. And that's my version.
That's your version.
That's my version. It's not King James version. I can do all things, and you can do all things as well. Just be strong. Just get it that you're going to do better. And we have to. During this season of COVID, during the season of everything that's going on in this world, it doesn't matter what's going on. We have to take care of us. Yeah, we have to take care of us and take it one day at a time. Even if you don't feel better today, then tomorrow, get up and do what we have to do. You know, make that doctor's appointment. Go ahead and do what you have to do. And no matter what it is, it's just a season. And this time next year or the year after, you'll be better. But we have to do what we have to do.
I love it. Earlier, you mentioned about creativity, and as you know, Serenity, Courage, and Wisdom, SC. You can't see it all, but for those of you who don't know, Serenity, Courage, and Wisdom, we bring awareness through the creative arts. We bring awareness to the gynecologic cancers, HPV, cervical cancer, pelvic floor therapy. We talk about all of that, but we use the creative arts to spread the word and to allow our survivors and caregivers to express themselves so that they can, you know, cope through what their journey is or their process is. So tell us, what do you do creatively? Do you like to do anything creative? And if so, what would that be for you?
I have always loved drawing. And you get busy with life and your children get grown and you just stop doing what you love doing. And so, and I have start doing it again now. I do a lot of drawing, a lot of sketching. And now our local library have an art program, And so you can get all your materials for free. So,
Wow.
yeah, so monthly, so you can just sign up, and I love doing that, which it brings out a part of me that I thought was hidden, that I haven't done in such a long time. But it also makes you feel better because you can see something that was in the back of your mind that you created. And I don't care if you splash it on. I don't care if you just draw it. It's something that you're doing and that you're creating.
Right.
And it makes you feel better,
Yes.
And it makes you have a different outlook on life because also that's your time. That's your time to do something special. And then you can sit back. Yes, you did that,
Yes.
So I love the creative arts. I love when you gave us the books and told us to journal. And I have always journaled. And
so you're speaking of the workshop that we do, that I do, where I encourage healing through our it's a journaling storytelling workshop. Your story, your way is what I like to call it. And so we met, and I'm gonna go into, that's gonna take us into my next question about Fighting Cancer Inc. is our dear friend, Sharon Grammer, who she left us. Miss her so much. So we met through her Christian survivor retreat, all women, all different types of cancers. And what I'm trying to say is you took part in the workshop. So you took part in the improvisation part where, get the juices flowing, the creative juices flowing. And then you also wrote in the journal that I provided and then presented it at the end. So I would love for you to tell us what your experience was like taking part in the workshop and the Teal Cafe, sharing your piece at the end.
Well, first of all, just being at Billy Graham's Cove in Asheville, North Carolina.
That's where the retreats used to be.
Yes, where the retreat. So it's in a beautiful setting.
Yes, it is.
And it's up in the mountains. And so as you elevate and go into the mountains, your mind, your body, your soul, your spirit elevates. And then to be in the workshop, and then your creativity comes out, because not only have you elevated your mind and soul and spirit to be someplace where I would never go. But
you flew from Florida.
Yes, right? I did. Yes, I did. I flew from Florida, and they had, and it was such a small town. They only have 2 planes that come in a day and 2 planes that goes out.
Wow.
And the airport was a 2x4. That's just how small it was.
Wow.
Yeah. But your workshops, it took me to the next level of bringing my creativity out and to start doing something that I had thought that I couldn't do anymore. When I was young, I used to always draw pictures, and my mom would turn them over, and she used to like to draw. And so I would draw a picture on one side, and then when I would come home to show her, she would turn it over and call herself refining my picture to show me a better way to do it. So
love it.
Yeah. So your workshop, it brought that out, which, just like I said, I thought it had been hidden. And so now it makes me now where I have the time, I want to do art. Anything that I can sign up to do and to learn and to do better, I do, because it's part of a healing process as well. And it's just like, you know how you have a sore and you put a Band-Aid on it, and so you let it heal. Well, that's just like getting that canvas out and drawing and seeing how you can do something and how you can make it better and how you can expand it, and then to color it in, to paint it in, you know. So,
but you told me you wrote poetry or right?
I write poetry a lot, and I write and I journal, and I journal by taking the word of God and putting it into my format. You know, and I have journaled all my life, and when you gave us the book, and I was like, you know what, I haven't done this in years, and so it made me to bring that back out to do it, you know. And
that's why I turned. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say that's why I when I wrote my book, I made it a journal, because, you know, to make it interactive, an interactive journal to go along with the workshop. So yes, that's why it is a journal, so that, you know, while you're taking the workshop, you can write and share your story your way, and then present it at the end for the Till Cafe. So, excuse me, speaking of the book, did you get a chance to read Love After Cancer?
Yes.
You did?
Why?
Why?
Because
don't start. Oh, please don't start. Please don't. Ooh.
It is always a blessing to know someone, but to be able to look at that person from another depth. And your book is another depth that just by being with you, I didn't see. And so, and the last time we talked, I was like, I'm going to get it right now, which I did.
Yeah, you said that.
And I was surprised that it came like within 2 days. But apparently they have my daughter's Prime.
Oh, you got it Prime. Okay.
So I was surprised too, because remember I texted, I'm like, I got it.
Yeah.
But also, I didn't write in it because that's my goal, to start the first of the year to do it a different way through your book. And so I got it and I read it, and I didn't put no bookmarks in it. I wouldn't even turn the page because because I'm gonna tell you, everyone should read it and have it, because that's something that will give you a better depth of ourselves as well, to do better, to feel better. And I have been procrastinating for 2 years. My niece, she's a publisher, and she's been saying, Auntie, you have a story to tell. You have a story to tell. And so I'm like, you know what? I'm going to wait. But now I'm not waiting. Now it's time for me to, well, thank you.
Write that story, your way. We want to hear it.
Yes.
That is so awesome. Miss Florine, it has been such a pleasure hearing you share your story.
Thank you.
I don't know if y'all could hear that. Sorry. Okay. It has been such a blessing to hear you share your story. Wow. Those high beams on, not just for Jesus, but just
yourself.
Your passion for helping other people and doing things within the cancer community. I love, like I said, being well, being healed, and being whole. You embody that. And so thank you so much for sharing. Thank you so much for being open about how you felt, how you feel, and sharing your story. So thank you so much. I'm going to hold you accountable to that. I want to read your book. Well, I want to read your book. So thank you for sharing your thoughts on Love After Cancer, my first book. I'm working on my second. So as soon as as soon as I get that done, I will be sharing that with you all. So ladies and even gentlemen, if you're watching, you all just heard from Florine Dian Blackshear. She is such an amazing friend. We connected day one at the first retreat that I went to, and I just I'm so, like I tell people all the time, it's not a club we want to be a part of, but I'm so glad that I am a part of a club within the cancer community of women and even men that I've met that have been so amazing in my life, poured into me. This woman right here has poured into me, and so many others. And so get connected. If you're going through something, I don't care what it is. It may not even be cancer. Just get connected with someone who can pour into you, who can encourage you, who can lift you up, so that when you are broken, you know, it doesn't feel as bad. When you're in that valley, you know, they'll shine some light on you, put those beams on you so that you can see your way out, because there's always a way out. So thank you again. If you've been watching our the Survivor Story series, please continue to watch. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, visit us on our website. And if you haven't already given today for Giving Tuesday, make sure you go on and do so. The links, all of those links that we talked about today will be provided in the chat. So make sure you check it out. Also, if you are creative and want to make cards for cancer survivors, for caregivers, make sure you send us. We're looking for as many as we can. So it's an ongoing project, but for the month of December, we're collecting holiday cards. So please, our P.O. Box is 634, and that's Wingate, North Carolina, 28174. It's going to be in the chat. Please take the time to, as you're writing those Christmas cards, to send us some so that we can lift up someone's day during one of the most challenging years of having to go through cancer on top of that. So, so thank you. And there was one more thing I wanted to share. My mind went blank. Oh gosh, talking about my mind is going blank.
I know.
Oh gosh, I should have written it down. See, that's why I write so much, because I forget. For the month of December, I have 20 books, 20 Love After Cancer books. So first come, first serve. I'm going to sign it and include a pen and a bookmark. Okay. How many? 20. Only 20. All right. I'm going to give you a discount just for the month of December, and that will be live tonight at midnight on our website. You have to visit us at SCAWINC.org, and that doesn't include shipping, but I will be giving you a discount. You gotta check out our website to see how much. All right. So thank you again. I will see y'all, and absolutely thank you for joining us, Florine. And next time, y'all have to follow us to see when our next Survivor Stories will be. All right. Love you all. And have a wonderful night. Happy holidays.
Happy holidays. Bye-bye.